we're currently at an interesting crossroads where we're starting to see a plateau of the illness and starting to see the curve start to flatten, which is wonderful news. And then that leads to a lot of ambivalence and interesting feelings for many of us who might want to now go out and see other people, open some of our self-isolation circles to include other people. And that's going to create a different kind of anxiety. It's helpful for our kind of connectivity, and that can help with depression. And we need that connectivity and the physical part of it. That only boosts our mental health. There are a lot of downsides to opening up our circles too soon, right? We know that there's the physical risk, but the mental health risk is it might amplify our anxiety. And then the second you have a sniffle, you automatically think you have coronavirus, or, you start to really worry that you're infecting other people. So you have to really be grounded and centered and feel like this is a solid decision, talking about it with the other people so that you can navigate it. If we're going to increase our social circles and we're going to start to open them up ever so slightly, there's a couple questions we might want to ask ourselves. One is the person I'm going to include in my circle equally as careful as I have been? So do we know that they are healthy and that they're fine? I think we also have to ask, why are we doing this, right? Are you doing it just because you're impatient and you really need to get out and you want to make it happen? Or because that person is a boyfriend that you haven't seen in 6 weeks and you're kind of desperate to see them, or a parent that you haven't seen in a while? And the third question I think that's important is, am I going to feel okay with myself and for my family or whomever if I do this? If your boundaries are being pushed by someone in your family to open this social circle when you're not quite ready, you have to speak your mind. You have to be direct, you have to be honest, you have to ask for what you need, and you have to maintain those boundaries. And that's really important now when there is the risk of illness involved and we are all trying to be safe and protect ourselves.
We need to have a very honest and open dialogue, and it has nothing to do with emotions. It really is just setting down some ground rules so that in the beginning, anybody who comes into your home understands that you're going to ask them to stay clean, and you're going to ask them to make sure that if they've been in touch with anybody who has been sick, that they just won't come over. And the same goes for you. What I would avoid is when you have friends or family where they are not really reliable about telling you kind of what their daily patterns are, or they're a healthcare worker like me and they have kind of a high-risk profession. You have spent so much time for weeks staying safe that as much as it might hurt to take a risk that could end up washing away all that you have done to protect yourself until now, think about how that makes you feel. Just think about how much you've given up so far and that we're really getting close. We're at that plateau. We just need to see it through, and then there is light ahead.